Hey, what's on with y'all boys today? I'm gonna do a little bit something different. Today we're just gonna be talking about credit. This is just a credit one-on-one, a little basic, get you started kind of video. This is not gonna have all the information you're gonna need. This is just to get you started on your journey if you're thinking about getting the credit card and things like that. It's more so for like, people just graduating school, people just turning 18 and things like that, because that's when these credit card companies gonna start to hit your line, hit your phone, and, emails and things like that. But anybody welcome, what I'm saying, to listen or put your input in. I ain't gonna cover everything, but like I said, what I'm saying. But yeah, man, and it's kind of ironic because literally today I just got an offer from Capital One. They want me to try out their products. I don't bank with Capital America, but what I'm saying, just saying like it's gonna happen. What I'm saying, once you turn 18 and things like that. But yeah, man, let's go ahead and get straight to it, man. Everything's on the whiteboard, so yeah, let's do it. All right, so all that credit is really debt management. Debt management, basically, kind of in the name. How well can you manage your debt? This is car notes. This is loans. This is mortgages. This is credit cards, student loans, things like that, man. How well are you able to, pay your pay your monthly payments off on time and in full and things like that. Basically, it's basically gauging, how well you manage your debt, things like that. Because believe it or not, credit, um, banks are giving you money, but that money is not yours. They're lending it to you. They're letting you borrow that money, but that money is not yours. So if you got approved from, let's say, Capital One, just like the offer letter that I got, they approved me for $1,500. That $1,500 is not mine. It's still Capital One, but they letting me borrow it, and that does not mean I spend all $1,500. Does not You do not want to do that. That's the last thing you want to do. There are rules and there is a strategy to go about this. You do not spend your whole credit limit. That's the worst thing you could possibly do. That's how you sink your credit score fast. Yeah, happened to me recently. So do not do that. Next, we got credit reporting companies, or otherwise known as credit bureaus. We got three of them: Experian, Equifax, and then TransUnion. So these three credit bureaus, they collecting data on you, by your credit score. They're going off of this criteria right here. We're gonna get to that later. But they're collecting that data on you and they sending that information out. That's how I was able to get this offer letter from Capital One. And I don't even bank with Capital One. I don't have none of their products. But the credit card companies that I currently use, they sending my information out to different credit card companies and things like that. They may be like, oh, he got a 750 credit score. Why not use one of our products? You know what I'm saying? You'll be a great candidate and things like that. So they're gonna put their stuff out there. They're gonna send your information out to insurance companies, employers, things like that, man. They're gonna send your information out there. Just letting you know. But yeah, moving on, let me move out the way for this one. So these three credit bureaus, they use two different models. They either use one or two of these different models to give your credit score. It's kind of like a credit report, basically. You know what I'm saying? You got your FICO score 8, and then you got your Vantage score 3.0, and they also got 4.0. Now this one is a bit newer. Vantage score, I believe, is a bit newer, but FICO score, this is what you need to be worried about right here. Your FICO score 8, what is like very, 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 very important. This is what most lenders, like if you're trying to go for a house loan, car loan, whatever, they're going off your FICO. Like this is going to hold more weight than your Vantage score. Not saying that your Vantage score doesn't matter at all, but your FICO score matters way more. if you're trying to get approved for a loan with low interest rates. Um, yeah, like I said, there's two different criteria. Was like I said, we're gonna get to that soon, but these two credit models, they use different criteria to basically gauge what's the word, how well you're managing your debt. That's what I'm trying to say. They use two different ways to gauge how you're managing your debt. Basically, that's basically what I'm trying to say. With checking your credit score, this is just me personally. I use both Credit Karma and Experian. Experian is an app. Um, you can get all three of these apps separately. Experian got its own app. Equifax, I believe it has its own app, or you can check it on their website, I believe. TransUnion has its own app, and I believe it has its own website. You can check them out on each website. I use Credit Karma to check my Equifax and then my TransUnion. Experian got its own app. That's how I'm able to check my FICO, things like that. I forgot to say Credit Karma. I meant it really checks my Vantage Score 3.0. That's what I use Credit Karma for, and then I use Experian to check out my FICO, but also different credit card apps like Amex, Discover, Chase, and even Capital One. You can check your FICO score within their system, but make sure you look for the fine print. Whether they're using the FICO score 8, or if they're using Vantage Score 3.0. That's going to be very important because not all of them use the same scoring model. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Hopefully that helped. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the next one. So criterion. This one is going to be. It's a lot more criteria than what I have listed on here, but you will have to look at each the FICO score 8 criteria versus Vantage score because it's different. I just mix and match some from each of these. This is not all of them. There's even more. So you got credit age. Credit age is basically how long have you been banking. Like, how long have you been using a credit card, basically? You want to be careful with this because every time you add on a new card, well, let me back up. Your credit age is basically based on the average. So, let's say you had a card for 8 years and you got a brand new card. Your average credit age is going to lower. So the more, let's say you keep getting a new credit card every month you just getting a new credit card for whatever reason, your credit age is going to go down. And this holds a lot of weight, whether you're using FICO or Vantage Score. It holds a lot of weight regardless. So you want to be careful with how often you get a credit card. And your credit, like I said, your credit age, it goes off your average. And the more cards you get, it's gonna lower it down, especially if you're getting them back to back to back. Also, speaking on this, when you get in your credit card, you're probably gonna notice that it's going to say like poor. Like after a couple of months of getting used to it, you're probably gonna notice that it's always gonna say poor, and that's because I believe according to like Google, you may have to search this up. But you need to have your average credit age to be like around like 7 years. I would say like 5 to 7 years. You would have to have it for a while for it to progress. But because I know mine's been like at poor for a while, but I had to search it up. Like when does it usually get better? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that's that. Next, payment history. This basically is, are you making your payments on time and in full? Are we late on our payments and things like that? because you're gonna have to deal with late fees, and that's something that you don't want to deal with. Every credit card got a different late fee. It may be $40, it may be higher, or anything like that. But basically, make sure you pay your balance off in full and on time. Moving on, hard inquiries. Basically, a hard inquiry, you got a hard inquiry and you got a soft inquiry. I just put hard inquiries because most of the time it'll be like a hard inquiry. It's very, sometimes when you're applying for a card, and this is where this is coming in, a hard inquiry. Basically, whenever you're applying for a new card, so let's say I apply for this card right here, whatever Capital One this student credit card is, they're going to run a hard inquiry on my credit report. Like, they're going to look at all the data, all my data, what my credit score is, my credit history, and things like that. And you want to be careful, because this kind of ties in with credit age, because basically these two basically kind of tie in together. The more often you keep getting a credit card and quickly and things like that, that's going to really lower down. That's going to lower your credit score, and you want to be careful about that. But it's basically like a hard rundown of your entire credit history, everything about it. You want to be careful. You want as few as those as possible. You do not want a lot of inquiries, hard inquiries or soft. You do not want a whole lot of those. Card usage. This is very, very, very important. So, what I was talking about earlier, about if you got approved for a credit limit for about $1,500, that money, all that money is not yours, and you should not spend 100% of that. So $1,500, you should not spend all of that. Your card utilization, you want to keep low. Only spend 30% max of your credit credit limit. Only spend 30% of that. If you could go lower, that's better. But 30% max. The lower you keep it, the better this criteria is going to be for you. You know what I'm saying? And you want to do this across all cards, because like I said, I've had this happen to me, where I didn't realize that I was applying for a new credit card, or basically a new credit card. I was trying to buy some tools, and I was just trying to use the buy now, pay later thing, and they signed me up. PayPal basically got me signed up for like a new credit card, got a new credit limit for like $1,000, and the tools costed $965. So that's over 30%, because 30% would have been $300 out of $1,000. Basically, that was over 90% of the credit utilization limit, and that tanked my credit score down by like 50 points. I kid you not, still recovering right now. But that's why, like I said, you want to keep your card utilization down. Keep that thing down, please. Number of cards, we kind of already said this. You want to be worried about how many cards that you have and how often you're getting them. You need to kind of space it out. If you want a new card, you need to space it out so that it doesn't tank your credit score. But the number of cards you have kind of goes with credit mix. That is another criteria that isn't listed on here. Part of your credit report is, how much debt you have. So if you only have one credit card, that's cool. Like, you're going to be good, but they want to see you manage more. So kind of like what we said here, like your car notes. If you're paying off your car, you got monthly payments, that can be included. Loans, things like that, student loans. That's a great way to diversify your portfolio. That's what I'm trying to say. You want to diversify your debt, basically, with the number of cards. Don't have to have 10. You don't have to have 10. You don't have to have 30. You can just have two, but they just want to see you, manage debt in different ways, basically. Hopefully that makes sense. If it don't, leave a comment in the question or ask a question in the comments. And then the amount of debt. Again, this kind of ties in with the last point. Basically, they want to make sure they can trust you with the money. They want to make sure that you're responsible with the debt, you're paying it off on time and in full. So they kind of want to see you diversify how much debt you have to, show them how well you can, manage debt, basically. Like I said, there's more criteria than that. I just listed a couple, but there's more criteria than that each score go off of. Next, we're gonna go on talk about credit score range. Now, we go from 300 to 850. So this one is not really a whole lot to talk about here. So for 300 to 570, 300 to 579, you're in the poor range. 580 to 669, you're in the fair range. 670 to 739, you're in the good range. 740 to 799, you're in the very good range. 800 to 850, you're in the excellent range. And this may vary depending on which model you're looking at. But generally speaking, this is the credit score ranges that you're gonna be looking at. So yeah, this is basically part one, or I don't know if I'm gonna make another video really talking about this, but hopefully this helped. I just wanted to help out whoever maybe getting started their credit journey, credit card journey, or their credit score journey, basically. Like I said, man, leave any comments down if you have any questions, and I'll try my best to answer them. But like I said, hopefully this helps out. Make sure to not go ham with your credit limit or your credit card, man. Do not spend all of it. 30%, and even better if you can go less, but 30%, please. And if you're irresponsible, turn on auto pay. Turn on auto pay so you don't miss a payment. So hopefully that helped. Yeah.